Welcome back to another banger episode of the Chips and Chops podcast. Our guest today needs no introduction. Known by many as the best photographer and videographer in the Michiana area. At just 16 years old, he's working with the Notre Dame football and basketball team. And in the past, he's been seen taking photos for NBA player Blake Wesley, IMG Academy, weddings, the biggest sports games in the areas, and more. However, that passion of his is not the only thing that makes him unique. He's also involved in his Christian faith. He's a music lover and a sneakerhead. But before I forget, I would like to shout out our sponsor, Stockroom East. You guys have heard me talk about them 100 times doing the same intro. It's pretty boring at this point. Gotten complaints from a good amount of listeners, I'll just say that. So yeah, let's switch it up. Let's see what some other people have said. I did some research, right? So Dan Vessel said, Stockroom East is one of the nicest working areas I've ever seen. Ryan Yazel said, Stockroom East is a great co-working space, great people, relaxed environment with opportunities for quiet and collaboration. So I'll be honest, like, David would agree, like, Stockroom East is genuinely, like, a special place. Like, we love being here. Like, you're here, I'm just, like, I'm happy whenever I'm here. Like, obviously, I'm doing an episode or something like that. But if you haven't yet, link in bio, you guys should check them out. Check them out on Instagram, they're on social media. So, thank you again, Stockroom East. Yeah, like I said before, Kellen, like, you don't need any introduction. But I am curious, like, besides the videography, stuff like that, what is something that most people don't know about you?
That people don't know about me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
That's kind of like an icebreaker question.
I got something. This is just
Okay.
like a one little thing. So I've played basketball my whole life, basically.
Yeah.
Really?
And so my school did a homecoming dodgeball tournament type thing.
Yeah.
And there's this really tall kid at my school. He's like 6'8".
6'8".
Does he hoop?
Not really.
Oh.
His brother's he just transferred to Louisville.
I think I recognize the name, yeah.
And so, actually, I'm not gonna call him out.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. So don't say who that is.
we can change it or something.
Yeah. So, but he is like, I was like dunking a dodgeball just for fun, and this kid's like, I bet you can't dunk on me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. I've never dunked on anyone before. So I was getting ready. I went up and I dunked on this kid so hard, and I hung on the rim with one hand.
Oh my god.
Wait, so you can dunk?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he's an athlete, David. You know, he was a big
I'm not just a
runner.
videographer.
He's not. Yeah, I was gonna say not just a video. Other different stuff makes you unique. Wow, that's crazy. Did someone get a video of or anything?
Literally, nobody was ready for it because, like,
Bro, you should have booked Lang and had him flick that event up.
I should have.
That'd been so dodgeball tournament. That's unmarked territory. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, like, we talked about this before. I did like a lot of research on you, and actually I stumbled across a picture of you from when you were 11 or 12. Right? You were at the Shed Aquarium, and in that picture you have a camera across your chest. This is about 5 years ago. What moment did you really like realize your passion for, I guess, like, being behind a camera? I don't really know what you call it.
I mean, I got my first camera when I was like 5 years old.
Wow.
So my dad's a photographer,
Oh, okay.
and I got this little like point and shoot camera. It's like nowadays it's really bad. Like, it had like less than a gigabyte of storage, and so
Yeah, that's awful.
yeah.
So
So
what does your camera now have? To put it in
I mean,
perspective?
I can just, it's an SD card. So like I usually use 128 gigs,
That's insane. That's
and I have like 2 SD card slots, so it goes up to like
200.
yeah,
300, yeah.
yeah,
Wow. So like since 5 years old you've been taking pictures.
yeah.
Wow, that's just. When did you kind of like decide, like, you know, I think
'Cause-
when you're a kid, like, everyone has that one thing that you wanted to be. I mean, when I was 5, I really wanted to be a fireman. Like, that sounds kind of dumb, like, or that's not dumb at all, but like something so polar opposite of what I want to do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, I'm trying to think, like, what did you want to do when you were a kid? Like,
I don't really know.
has it always been photography or
No,
Really?
I don't think, like, I've always taken photos, but it's never been what I really necessarily wanted to do until
yeah.
the past few years. So,
Because you were big into sports, right? So did you played basketball in like middle school?
yeah.
Okay.
But you were
So
a big
what-
track
what-
runner, right? Or cross country or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
That's what noticed.
so I started that like 8th grade year, and I was like, I'm pretty good.
Yeah,
so
you're fast.
So I kept doing it, and then just this past year I stopped just because it's too much.
Yeah.
No, I can imagine.
So what time did you quit basketball then? 8th grade?
Freshman year.
Freshman year.
Were you on the freshman team?
I was.
We probably played against each other.
No, he's a junior.
I'm a junior.
Oh, you're
So-
right. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. But I mean, just at 11, you were taking pictures at the Shed Aquarium. That's pretty funny. When would you say that you really realized, like, oh, I want to do something with this?
So it was. Both my parents are teachers at Elkhart, the school I go to, and before it is Elkhart, it was Memorial and Central. So there was this big football game every year. It was a Memorial Central rivalry.
Yep.
It was the Mangy game, and I was maybe 7th grade, and I was like, asked my dad, I was like, hey, you think I could like get on the sideline and maybe take some photos? Like I've never taken photos of football before, but I was like, this might be fun. Like I don't think I ever really watched football before that, and then I went on that and I filmed it, and I made this mixtape after. Yeah. I mean, it's not very good. I mean, it's decent, but it's not very good compared to what I've done today. I mean, I was in
7th grade is wild.
Yeah.
7th grade, yeah, and I posted it, and I think I was like, dang, this is blowing up. Like, so many people are liking this, and it had like 120 likes and 700 views. Like
that's still pretty impressive, though, right?
Yeah, for a 7th grader.
Yeah, like I had no social media presence at all, and I was like, dang, 120 people. That's a lot of people.
No,
yeah,
that's really cool. I mean, I don't know of anyone that started something like that early in 7th grade. It's usually when they're literally your age now, 16, 17 years old. But I mean, fast forward to now. I mean, that was what, 4 years ago or something, right?
Yeah, like no, that's like 5
years
or
ago.
6.
That's just wild to me.
So do you think starting that young is like beneficial to you now because you're just up ahead of people?
Yeah, I mean, like,
in the game right now?
Like, it's not even on anything cocky. I mean, people literally photographers call you like you're just the best, best photographer, best videographer in the Michiana area, right? Like, would you say like doing it for 12 years or so? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's been really helpful because it's helped me like learn what not to do
Mm-hmm.
as well with like the things that I should be doing. And so, I mean, there's been lots of ups and downs, and I've made some pretty crappy videos, but like now I feel like I've gotten to a place that's a lot maybe better than everyone. I'm not like trying to be, but like I've gotten higher just because I've started a lot earlier than most people.
More experience than everyone.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like consistency is really kind of what sets you apart in a way, right? I mean, fast forward till now, you're working with Notre Dame football and Notre Dame basketball, right? That's so insane. How did you initially land those jobs?
So, I mean, jobs like that, it's literally just all about who you know. And so my dad just knew somebody that had seen my work and followed my work. He's a producer for Notre Dame football, and we'd been trying to get something together, maybe having me come out to film a game since I was maybe in 8th grade.
Wow.
He had seen my work. He wanted to like get me on a shoot, film some stuff, and so like it's just he's been trying to get me there for years, but just not been able to because Notre Dame is like really strict with who they allow. And just this past year, he was able to get like past, since like I'm in high school, it's hard to get me to work for them. So they don't my school doesn't normally allow internships for juniors, but like I was able to get this put together. And so now I have an internship with them because I knew him. So it's honestly just, it's not necessarily about how many people see your work. It's just about that one person that sees it.
Yep.
And really gives you that chance.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's awesome.
Wait, so you're talking about it like an internship. Does that just mean like if there's a game during the school day, you can not go to school?
So I only go to school like 2 days a week.
Wow.
So I only
As a junior, that's wild.
Yeah, so I only have 4 classes, and then I go to school. Like today, I would be at Notre Dame for the rest of the day, but it's my break. So
like, what do you do when you're like not in school? Is it you go to Notre Dame and they like?
I go to Notre Dame and it's whatever I'm working on there. So
that's crazy. So like it's not just game film; it's also practice and stuff like that. So you're around the players like a lot, then, right?
No, I don't really do practice. It's pretty much just games. I do a lot. Most of the stuff I do outside of games is editing.
Yep.
So
no, I'll say that.
You go.
Well, I was gonna say it's like crazy, like just I mean, you're getting featured on Notre Dame football's page, Notre Dame basketball's page, stuff like that. I've noticed like they don't tag you in any of the stuff or anything like that. Like, would you say that interning for them has helped you grow, or is it more just a great learning experience? You know, a little cash on the side.
So I mean, grow in the sense that like it gives me people that know who I am, not necessarily, but what it does is it helps me build relationships with people that are in the industry.
Yeah.
I'll know them, and then they'll leave Notre Dame to go work for the NFL, and the NFL needs a guy, and they're like, I know this guy that I worked with at Notre Dame, and so like it's honestly helps me build those relationships, and those are probably more important than any like several hundred followers that I could gain from them tagging me.
For sure.
So.
No, that's like a really like insanely mature way of looking at it. I would say something like, yeah, I've definitely learned is like networking, right? Like it's I guess there's nothing better to like level up in your career, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like the more people you know, the more connections you could get. I mean, just by knowing some person in our morning program, we got to get in this space and be in a studio, right? Like I don't think we could have been able to get a guest like the caliber that we've had if I was still recording it like it's like 160p or whatever that means.
No, it was 30.
30.
FPS.
It was like 30 FPS, right? Like that's awful, 8-hour adding and stuff like that. That's just crazy for what it was 3 months ago. Yeah, going back in time, you were taking videos of, like NBA player Blake Wesley about late 2020, early 2021. When did you initially decide to start doing like high school sporting events?
I mean, it was really that Memorial Central game, and then that season I filmed some more games, and I took some more photos, and then the next season when they merged, I kept doing stuff, and I was like, towards the end of the season, or no, it was the next season after that, so I started doing videos of just Elkhart, and I was like, maybe there's more for me than just my school, and so I talked to Jordan, he's my guy. Yep. And I'm like, what games are there in the area that like I should go film?
This is when he was just starting, right?
Yeah, so okay. he was just starting and I was just starting. Really the first time I met him though, I'll just talk about this now. So really the first time I met him, I was with Lang, and he talked about this game too. We went to watch Blake Wesley play Michigan City. And so Jordan was at that game, and I had talked to him on Instagram a little bit, but he was at that game, and I like talked to him. I think we might have a picture from that game or something, but
I think I've seen it. It's like you, Jordan, and Lang, and you're like looking up on the stands.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, I think I like vaguely remember that.
And so this game was like supposed to be a good matchup. Michigan City was really good. Riley was really good. They had Blake Wesley, and I was like, I'm just gonna make a full game mix of this, and then Blake Wesley dropped 46 points.
46.
46, 4-6.
Wild.
I've never seen someone drop more than like 35 in a game.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen someone score that much.
That's insane. So you ended up just getting really video of him then, right?
Yeah, so it's literally just him.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
That's crazy. But
meeting Jordan at that game, and then like it really branched into like, hey, what games are there this week that I might want to go film, and like we built that relationship, and like I'll go to games with them all the time, like now. So like
just last week it seems like you guys were at a Plymouth game or something.
Mm-hmm. No, not we were at like I think we went to 2 games. We were at 2 games with each other last week. So yeah,
I was gonna say like really like shout out Jordan, like everyone that we had on, like nobody can say anything bad about him. Like he's kind of like I don't really know what he has like a community, like he brings people together. Like he's like, I mean like sure he's older in a way, like he's 19, we're 18, you're almost 17. It's just like he really is like, I don't even know how to put it. He just connects people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and he cares so much about like bringing up people who, might not have that big of an audience and shouting them out and like, putting them out there. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm just like I'm thankful for the guy.
I mean, he's like, he has nothing bad to say about anybody.
Yeah.
Like even how like if they like aren't like cool to him, he'll still like post them on his page and say like they dropped this, and he's really all for like growing the community and growing basketball and football in the area, and he's done that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
remember when he put out his top, like his first team, second team, third team, for Michiana, right, or like the basketball players.
Yeah.
There were guys under it commenting like, "Where am I at?" Like, you know, he's like, they're like not liking Jordan, but then, you know, they drop some points. He's posting them on the Instagram post, stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So that's like really cool. He's really just like unbiased, like just an awesome dude. Yeah, like, so you've been doing this for like, you know, really your whole life, but high school, it seems like obviously for your last 3 years. Would you say that's gained you some sort of like popularity around school? Like you walk around and let's be honest, people recognize you.
Yeah, I mean, there will be kids that come up and say, "What's up, Kellen?" and dap me up,
Yeah.
and I have no idea who they
You don't
are.
know their names. How would you say that you've like dealt with that pressure? Obviously, you've been in the game for longer, but what was that like initially like?
Well, I mean, just like everybody's watching my work, I need to come out with something better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like looking at it that way isn't really very helpful. If you look at it with like just looking at yourself, like not worrying about what other people are gonna like. It's not about how many likes I get on a post. It's
Yeah.
about the work that I put into that post, and it's about what I did to get to that point. It's not about what anyone else will view me or that post as.
Yeah.
So,
No. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to not look at like the likes and whatnot, because like you put out a quality, like a great film that you think is like your best video that you've ever done, and it doesn't get the amount of traction as other ones. Does that like
Yeah.
set you back in any way, or you're just like you know your work is like up there?
I mean, I know my work is at a level that most people aren't gonna be at.
Yeah,
And so there's like,
it's like you know you're gonna get there at a point.
Yeah, so I'm not going to compare myself to other people because
Yeah.
they're on their journey and I'm on mine.
Yeah.
And so
No, but I'm saying like compare yourself to yourself. So you have a video that's like really good, but there's a video that's a little worse that you put out that got more traction, more views, more likes. Does that like get you upset in any ways, or is it like they're both yours, so it's fine?
I mean, I know I've been kind of upset about that before. It's just like,
Yeah.
this makes no sense. Like this video is
Not as good.
It's
Yeah.
not very good. And then this video that I literally did not sleep for, and then I had to go to school the next day, and
Yeah.
it does like less than half what the other one did.
No,
So
I could imagine that like could mess with you for a little bit. But like when you say like when you initially started gaining some traction around the area, was it like how'd you react to people like, you know, just like knowing you and you literally have no idea who you are? Because that's something that me and David have been through too, and it's kind of like a weird experience at first, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, like I'll go to games in Michigan where I have like no idea anybody who lives in Michigan, and people are like, "What's up, Kellen?" And like the student section starts chanting my name, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I have no idea who you guys are.
It's kind of like, it's really like awkward. Like it's like you know, like
Yeah.
what's up? Like you're awesome. Like what do you really talk to them about?
I know,
guess, in a way.
I don't know what to say a lot of the times. I'm just kind of like, "What's up? How you doing?"
Yeah.
Like,
I remember when me and David started. It's like this is kind of weird. Like
It hasn't really happened anymore.
No, not in like the last month, but I mean like we haven't gone anywhere where it would, I guess.
I don't know. At
Or it's
school
like-
or whatnot.
Yeah, I know,
Is it-
but like at school, like you know, if we walk into like when school started, we walk into the bathroom, everyone's like, "What's up, podcast?" We're like, "What's up?" You know, like I have no idea who you are. I'm going in my senior year, like I don't know that many people, but now everyone's trying to say something. You know, it's a very interesting experience, I would say, or like going to games and like I've talked about this before. You know, we're at a football game. It's like the other student section, like they just start like a F the podcast or like no more podcast or something like that. You
Yeah,
know?
no, it was wild.
Like you know, like we talked about this with Lang, like or St. Joe, like we had like this chips and chop shirt. They got it. They just started taking pictures, flipping it off, tagging us, you know, sending it to us. I would say it's a very unique experience, like just like being known, I guess. Would you say that you've dealt with haters in that sort of way yet, or?
I
Seems
mean,
like everyone likes you, right?
I don't think people really necessarily want to hate on you when you do media in the area because
Yeah.
they want pictures of
Yeah,
themselves.
you're promoting them.
That actually makes a lot of sense. That would just end up hurting them in a way, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But yeah, what would you say? You talked about this a little bit before. What would you say have been some of your struggles? You know, starting photography and videography so young, and then you know, like
Yeah,
fast
like-
forward to now.
Some kids were like playing football underneath the stands at 7th grade, and you were on the field taking pictures.
Yeah.
Like,
Really,
I mean,
I could imagine that would force you to mature a little earlier and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, a big struggle is just being a kid.
Yep.
Like, I don't think I've been in the student section cheering one time my entire high school career. I've always been. I'd just rather be taking photos because it's what I like to do.
Yeah.
And then there's like, I'm trying to think. One sec.
you know, that's wild because like Grant, for example, he'll take pictures for like the first like 3 quarters, and then he'll come in the student section or something.
Or like he'll just be right underneath and just be.
And he'll still chill in the student section. But you've really never been.
He just starts being like a cheerleader.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like, that's kind of what he does. Starts throwing his arms around and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like have the normal high school experience in that like I literally go to class 2 days a week, and it's pretty much like
I don't know, just like it was my keys.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, I go to school like 2 days a week, and then it's like I have a job that like only really adults have. Like, there's no one my age in this.
Yeah.
Like, it's for sure helped me mature because like I've just been around people that know more than me, and that's just helped me out a lot for sure.
So does your dad still help you with your stuff? Is he like a big role model influence for you?
So he teaches photography at my school.
Okay.
And he for sure has been a big influence on what I do. I don't think you necessarily like showed me how to take videos. I kind of wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
Since he had his photography thing, I wanted to branch out into videos and see what I could do with that. So to learn video the way I have, I've literally just watched other people's work. Like, I don't think I've
watched what edits they do
like,
and whatnot.
Yeah, like nobody's taught me how to use any of it. I've taught myself. So like, if that's looking up YouTube videos, like no person has ever really showed me how to do this.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like how he touched on role models. Seems like you've been pretty close with Lang. You know, Lang. I mean, he talked about it as well. Who would you say have really helped you on your, starting up this?
I mean, Lang for sure is up there. Like, when I was in 8th grade or 9th grade, this dude was driving me to games. Like, I haven't had my license until literally this year. Yeah. And he would literally just come to my house, pick me up, and we'd go to a game, and he'd get me food. Like, it's just a cool thing for him to do. Like, he's an adult. He doesn't have to do that for me, but he does, and it's just a really kind thing of him to do for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I realized. Like, he's just kind, if I had to put a word, like, he was just like a really like nice guy, like,
yeah, I mean,
gentle-hearted in a way,
Yeah, he's all about seeing what he can do for other people and not what he can get for himself.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna end up helping him a lot,
Mm-hmm.
What would you say makes your photo? I mean, I would say like photography has become something that's kind of oversaturated at this point. That's not a negative thing or anything. It's more content out there. But what would you say makes your photos and videos different than others?
I mean, what I try to do is kind of tell more of a story, which a lot of people in the area don't do. Yeah. They kind of just put a song on it and show some highlights, and that's it. I try to like show the emotion of the game, show the story of the game, which is not a thing you see in high school sports, like really at all. So that's been a big thing for my work.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
How do you select the song? Is it like the people send you like a song you want to do, or is it kind of like your favorite song at the moment?
I got like a playlist with like 500 songs.
Oh, that you can use for videos?
Yeah, so I just like shuffle it and like skip a song until I find one that I think would be cool in a mix.
Okay.
What are some of the songs on that playlist? Or some of the songs that you've used?
Lots of Drake stuff, Lil Baby,
That's easy, yep.
21 Savage.
Yeah.
Kind of the obvious ones then, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much whatever.
It helps when people know the song that they're the video's
I mean,
on.
It's whatever song is popular right now. Like, people don't want to hear a song that no one's ever heard before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to like the storytelling, I was like, I like vividly remember this. I think it was about the time when we had Grant on the podcast. You flicked up this one game. I think it might have been Elkhart, but it was Ryan Ling. Is that Northridge or?
That's Schoolcraft.
Schoolcraft. Okay, yeah, that's way out of the. Let's say you in like it was like lightning in the background, and they had like purple jerseys. And I remember seeing that. I was like, this is like the most insane thing I've ever seen. And it kind of like I said, like lightning in the background, like you said, it kind of like told the story, you know. It made me feel very intrigued, I guess, in a way. So I would say, yeah, that's really awesome. What would you say have been some of your favorite moments? We talked about the struggles. What would have been some of your favorite moments?
I mean, so I've talked about Blake Wesley's 46-point game, but the start of this year, there was this tournament in LaPorte that me and Lang saw. We saw, like, Jordan shared this on his account, like the LaPorte tournament, whatever. It had, like, IMG, Montverde, La Lumiere, like Oak Hill, like every
Like
top,
the big high schools.
Like it's literally like the top kids in the country. Like
Yeah,
these
yeah.
are like grown men. Like these are not high school
D1
kids.
and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like there was 30 of the top 100 players in the country that were there that
That's
weekend.
insane.
Yeah.
And so that was really my first time like recording big talent outside of Indiana and Michigan basketball and football. Like that was a big time. And then after that, we went to EYBL,
Yep.
which that
Yeah.
probably had more, to be honest. Me and Lang drove down to Indy for that one, and so
Yeah, shooting the 30 out of the 100 best players, right? I mean, you're already shooting the best of the best doing Notre Dame football and Notre Dame basketball. What's like your dream job in media?
I probably want to be like a producer for NFL, NBA. I don't know what that like where I want to be there yet, but I think somewhere generally in that space.
So does producer mean you don't shoot anything? You get all the film from people, and then you would make the videos and the edits off of it?
No, so that's like making all sorts of different content. So like I produce content, basically it's editing, music, video. So
Okay.
like I'll go to games and record stuff too.
Okay.
So that's awesome. Do you have like a favorite team for either the NBA or the NFL that you'd want to take
I mean,
pictures for, take
right
videos for?
now it's the Eagles because
Eagles?
that's my
Interesting.
fantasy team right now.
Yep.
I got Jalen Hurts,
That's a good fantasy team to have. I mean, their offense is just electric. So
except Jalen Hurts is out this week, and I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I mean, you can always pick up Gardner Minshew. You never know. He might go for 30.
You never know.
Yeah, he also might not. He also might do awful, right? You
No,
never know.
Gardner Minshew. I saw a stat in the top 5. Like he's in the top 5 for touchdown to interception ratio at the moment, and people up there are like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen,
Wow, good
Joe Burrow. So he's in a W group of 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, I don't know. I think I'm like talking about sports with people. Like I'm so out of it. Like, I don't watch.
Yeah, do you even know who Gardner Minshew is?
I know he played for the Jaguars at some point.
Yeah, no, he was tough at the Jags.
That was probably like 3 or 4 years ago, though,
It's like
right?
2, 3, yeah.
I
During
mean,
COVID.
I've never done a fantasy team. I've never done anything like that. I couldn't even name like, I don't even know who the Patriots starting QB is. At this point. Like I don't keep up with sports at all. It's only Notre Dame football, really. So I mean, you're a junior in high school. What would you say is next for you? Like, what are your future plans?
So I'm graduating December next year. So I have 2 semesters left of high school. And I honestly, like, it's not 100% sure for me. It's honestly, like, I'm going to trust what God has for me wherever I'm at. So whether that's going to college or going straight to work for, like, another college or an NFL, NBA team, like, it's whatever God has for me in that.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go to college to work for like an NFL, NBA team, correct?
No,
'Cause-
like doing that is literally all about experience.
Because like, what's making you want to leave in December and not just like graduating when the rest of your class graduates?
I don't like school.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
I mean,
yeah, but
you're
like,
going twice a week.
yeah.
I could imagine that. I mean, if I were you, I'd almost start doing online school 100% of the time, you know? But yeah, I mean, like, how would you say, I noticed, like, it seems like your faith is really important to you. How has that influenced, I mean, just like the way that you look at everyday life and then, you know, your career?
So, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be to the place where I'm at if it weren't for the faith that I've built. Like,
Yeah.
my relationship with God is my number one priority. So, if it were me to choose anything video related between having to go to church, like church is my where I'd be. So, I mean, that's just like really what's helped me grow, and like it helps me like be more of a positive influence in the community. Like people are really judgmental in this media space, and it just helps me know that like my work is not defined by what other people think of me. So
yeah, that's like, I don't know.
It's defined by the elevation of yourself.
Like,
yeah.
oh my God, I don't know. That's kind of incredible. Yeah, wow. What would you say is really like the like you're gonna end up leaving, you know, the 574 area at some point to branch off into bigger ventures. What would you say is like what mark do you want to leave on the community?
I just want to leave like probably like know that you don't have to compare yourself to people that are in working like me in a few years. If there's this high school kid that starts getting really good, he should not compare himself to me. Like his journey is going to be different than mine.
Yeah.
And so you just got to stay on your lane and work hard and just stay on that grind.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Life is like a highway. There's 5 lanes. You got to find your lane. Some go off into different exits. Some go off into different entrances. Got to make sure you go in the right exit and the right entrance.
That's probably the most like articulate thing I've ever heard you say on the podcast, David.
Well, he said
a lot of BS. I'll be honest. Like that was actually something.
Wait, that was actually good?
That was like good. Like that should be on some sort of like
Finally got approved
Instagram
by Joey.
or TikTok or video or something like that. Wow, you're cheesing. I mean, like, what would you say? Like he just gave words of wisdom. Like, what would you say, Mark? Do you want to leave on the community?
Me? Well, I want people to really speak the mind. Like I speak the mind a lot, and sometimes the analogies, the poems might not make sense at all. But deep down, you just got to speak what's in your mind. There's a time and place for it all. And you got to know your time and place, and then just let the mind speak. The mind is constantly flowing, which means the mouth needs to constantly be flowing. And if it's constantly flowing, you'll constantly be growing. And then you'll be leaving a mark on the community that is really glowing.
That's probably the worst thing I've ever heard. No, I'm joking. That was something.
But no, like deep down, like there's a lot of people that have great minds and they don't share them. They share them in different ways. And you just got to find the way you share your mind. You share your mind through your faith and through videography, because I know you don't want photography. It's videography.
For sure.
So you speak your mind through that. Joey speaks his mind through playing MSA soccer and podcasting and whatever else he does.
Basketball?
And wheelchair basketball, which, yeah.
We need some photographers at that. Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's kind of crazy how, like, think about it, right? Like, 2-3 years from now, people who are younger than us will probably still be, I don't want to sound cocky, still be talking about, you know, like, the work that you've done, stuff that...
Yeah, no, I'm hoping in 2 years there's a new Chips and Chops.
No, I 100% want that.
And I think it'll happen.
Yeah, it probably will.
Yeah.
I'd be curious who would be doing it.
I don't
you
know,
what I mean?
because technically we're the second coming. Shout out to
Bootleg Sports.
Bootleg Sports.
Yeah, I would say, God, it's kind of like both of what you guys said together. If I would have to answer the question, I know David didn't ask me to answer, but
Well, what, Joey? What type of mark do you want to leave on the South Bend 574 area community?
you say the whole world at that point.
Okay,
No, I'm joking. I would really just say I want to like. God, I don't want to sound like cocky. I just want to like inspire people to like branch out and do new things, right? So like, yeah, I guess like, don't be boring. You know what I mean? Like, find something that you could really do. Yeah, I guess that sounds. I don't know. That's not as good as your guys'.
I mean, you never know until you try something. Like I didn't know I necessarily wanted to do video until I started taking videos.
Yeah.
Like,
If you weren't,
No, I just find it wild you started in 7th grade. Like 7th grade, I was going to football games and like playing football up on the hill
I was playing
at St.
Fortnite
Joe. Like
12 hours a day, bro. That's all I was doing back then.
yeah, no, Fortnite and yeah.
If you weren't doing photo and video, what would you be doing? It seems like you were, you did
Would you still be
track,
hooping? Yeah, would you still be hooping and doing
I'd probably
track?
still be playing basketball for sure.
Yeah, I know the Elkhart Lions are really good this year. They could really use an addition of a sharpshooter and someone who could post at someone just like
Yeah.
you.
I don't know. I wouldn't say sharpshooter.
No,
No.
more of a slasher.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too. I've really come into my own on the basketball.
You're a slasher.
Okay, I'll say this. I've started to get a better handle of the ball. I'll be honest, like as a basketball player, I used to just be a rebounder. I could take shots. But I've been able
and just
to
bully kids.
Yeah, I've been able to kind of
Just-
dribble now. I mean, Kellen, is there anything else that you'd want to talk about, or we should get into what our supporters like submitted questions?
There is this cool time from EYBL that I kind of wanted to share.
Yeah.
So, it was me, NA Films, he's down in Indy, and Mason's View, he's in Valpo.
Okay.
So we were all like together, and then there's this guy who does like sports video. He's done it for the past like several years. Nick in the Cut. I don't know if you guys have seen his work.
I don't think
He's
so.
got like,
I've probably seen it, but no.
he's got like 50K, but like
wow.
he does like all the top. He's currently doing like a documentary style thing on Jared McCain. So he like traveled with Jared to go film this in EYBL, and me Mason and NA were talking to him, and we're like, he was like, I don't have a ride to this place. Like, you guys think you could take me to the hotel? And we're like, yeah, for sure. You want to go get some food? And so like this is a really weird time. Like me, Mason, and Nathan sat down and had Portillo's with Nick in the Cut, one of like the top sports videographers.
That's so crazy.
Which I'm just like, how does this happen? Like this
Yeah.
is so random.
Yeah, that's just, I'm like, I'd be curious, like, who some of the other names that you're going to meet in the future, right? If you go on to do an NFL, you might be taking pictures for, I don't even know, Antonio Brown or something. Like I said, I'm kind of out of the sports.
Antonio Brown's not really in the NFL anymore.
No, maybe Tom Brady or something like that, but, I mean, that's,
Tom Brady
yeah,
probably won't be.
that's crazy. Like, the guy who films Jared McCain, I mean, I see that guy on social media all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, just off of like an online impression, he seems like just awesome. You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
watching his videos, stuff like that.
Would you ever think about doing something like that where you just follow someone for like a year and make a documentary about them? Because isn't there like a girls team? There's a documentary being made about them. I heard.
I think there is. Yeah.
And
Probably it's like a shorter film.
so like, would you like consider like making a documentary about someone where you just follow them for like a year and live with them basically?
I think that would be something that would be really cool to do.
Yeah.
Like nobody sees the part outside of basketball. I feel
like
like
what they're doing at their crib and whatnot.
Yeah, like it would be cool to see like how do they prepare for games, like when they're not at the games, like that would be really cool to see.
Yeah, and then like something that I would also like really appreciate is like who are they outside of, you know, being known as like the basketball player. That's something that I like, is like having people on who are like, you know, they're known, like you're known for photography, videography, but like at the same time, like at the end of the day, you're just a high school student and you're into other stuff too, you know what I mean? I think that's something that'd be really interesting too. Like what else makes them unique, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something that doesn't get shown. That I mean, it's kind of hard to show that, but you know what I mean? Yeah, so let's get into some of like the supporter like submitted questions. The first one I have is Luke Ring asked, "Do you get burnt out while filming games?"
I feel like it's for sure happens. Like I think last week I went to a game every night. That was an hour plus away drive, and
Wow. That's committed.
I've learned how to not get burnt out because it's really important to rest. Like,
Yeah.
I take a day of rest every week. Like if I just went for a week straight, like I couldn't be doing this anymore. Like I will literally like not sleep for 5 days.
That's insane.
And
yeah.
I do get burnt out. Like there's been points where I'm like, I don't really feel like shooting video for like a month.
Yeah.
So
how many? I mean, like not. How many hours a week would you say that you really spend on it? Sounds like it's like 60, 70 hours a week. Like,
I
it's
mean,
incredible.
basically any hour that I'm not in school.
Yeah.
So
And you're only in school twice a week, so yeah, that's hundreds of hours. That's incredible. That's really like a grind. Nick Wynn asked, "Do you plan on taking a gap year?"
a gap year.
So like once
after high school.
I guess you're gonna
Yeah, you're good.
mathematically you're gonna take at least a semester gap year because
Yeah, so
I don't think you'll start
That's
college
kind of
with
why I want to graduate early, because it gives me an idea of what I want to do. Like if I get accepted into some colleges that I'm looking at,
yeah.
like it gives me a time to decide, like, do I want to go to college or do I want to go straight into working?
Yeah.
Because if you go to a college, I mean, you can also get the connection to that college that
Yeah.
you're their main videographer. Cause
Yeah,
If you go
I've
to-
been thinking
you'll go in
about-
with
A
the
big football school, that could be insanely helpful.
I've honestly thought about going to some smaller schools
Yeah.
because like they don't have video guys. Like I would be their guy,
Yeah.
and like people would see like if they look at that school, that's my work. Like, I've thought about doing that for sure.
That would be awesome. Girl with the camera asked, what did you have to do to get hired by ND?
I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
Kind of just have to know the right people.
Know the right
Sounds
people
like.
for sure.
Yeah. Girl with the camera asks again, what is your favorite sport to shoot?
They're different. Like, I mean, I pretty much only do basketball and football.
Yeah.
Like, those are the two probably most entertaining to film.
Which one do you like more? I think basketball's better.
I
You're
think so too.
Up close and personal, and like,
And you're inside.
yeah, I don't know if that would help or not, but like with football, like it might be like super cold outside, you know, it's late at
Well,
night.
like in basketball, you can have kids that drop 30-point games, but in football, like there's multiple kids that score touchdowns. It's usually not the same one, and like there's defensive plays by totally different kids. But basketball, it's 5 kids on the court.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you can get more emotion out of basketball too.
For sure.
Like football, they're wearing helmets. Like,
And
you can't.
Can't even say that.
And in football, it's you play the play, you get your emotion out, and then you line up for the next play. Basketball, that emotion keeps rolling until there's a timeout, which
Yeah.
could be 5 minutes without a break, and they're running up and down the court.
Yeah. Danny Z Photos asked, what inspired you to start your journey?
So, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of just
Seems like a lot of things.
I made movies with my friends, and then like I just had fun with that. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
something
Like iMovies?
Yeah, for sure. Like,
Bro, I remember doing that. I used to do those with my cousins. Like, we would make funny, like
Like
iMovies.
skits?
yeah,
iMovies
It was
in the
literally
basement.
like I made Nerf gun videos
That's
with my
so-
friends. Like, it was the dumbest stuff like that you'd think an elementary schooler would make. That's what I did.
Yeah, I remember I would like force my mom or dad to take video of me shooting hoops. Like, I have videos on my phone. I'm in like my backyard on a 9-foot hoop, pump faking, going up for some awful layup. You know, it's just like something fun to do as a kid. That's probably like a really bad comparison to making like skits with Nerf guns. Yeah. So our last question is from Flicks by Grant. Shout out Grant. He said, "What's next for Mr. Kellen?" We kind of touched on that as well. It seems like it's kind of unknown, right? But
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of things that you could end up doing. Right?
Yeah, you're right now in lane 4, waiting to find when your exit is to get onto the next part of the highway, and eventually
I don't have GPS.
Yeah.
you don't have GPS. Yeah,
He's getting a
that's
ride
literally
from someone else.
what life is. It's you're on a highway with no GPS, but your end destination, you don't know what it is. You're just driving.
Yeah, but
That's
like
an insane analogy. That's so good.
like for me, it's like I don't have the GPS, but I feel like God does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, He knows where I'm gonna be.
So, do you feel like life is like you're in a Tesla that is controlled by like God or whatnot, and he's
God
controlling
God is Elon
he
Musk.
he has like the program in the Tesla on where you're going, and you're just in the driver's seat, no hands on the wheel. It's driving you.
Kind of like that, but like at the same time, we do things that take us away from where he wants us.
Yeah.
So like
taking
sometimes
rest
sometimes
stops.
we put our hands on the wheels when we don't need to. So
Yep, got it. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Is there anything else like that you would want to talk about, or anything else like that? Any questions?
I don't really think so.
Yeah, I think we've touched on a lot. I think. Can you tell them where they can find you?
You'll find me at a basketball game, not this weekend because there's literally a blizzard, but
Yeah.
I'll be at basketball games. Reach out to me on Instagram. Like, I'm not scary.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
that's something that I've realized.
He loves to give advice.
Like, yeah, I was just saying, like, just messaging you, like, you just, I don't know. I wasn't scared. I was more like just like so excited. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. So check out Kellen on Instagram. That's your main thing. He has a website. It's what is it? KL3N_HRT.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to really pronounce my Instagram handle. It's just Kellen Hartman.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you can just look that up and it'll find there.
yeah.
Yeah. So. I don't really know what else to say. Do you have an outro or anything, David? Get excited.
Outro. We'll go with all right. Lane 4 exiting now onto the exit. Yeah, this is awful. That's a wrap.
All right, yep. Check us out on everything Chips and Chops podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Peace.